swear these other podcasts is just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. I swear these other podcasts is just a waste of time. I'm skipping through them, I'd rather listen and change my mind. Wes and Nick always help me through my daily grind. Your favorite guys, your favorite lines, change my mind. Yeah.
So, Nick, I have a bit of a personal question to ask you here.
Okay.
What is one thing you get complimented on by complete strangers? One thing that comes to mind, like, repeatedly.
Whenever I wear my cowboy boots, I get a compliment on those. It's a guarantee.
Are you sure you're getting compliments out of that?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Always.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. I mean, I don't want to say anything else without sounding conceited.
Well, no, I think it's not you. It's you acknowledging the fact that you get complimented on.
My
I don't
eyes.
think that's considered. Yeah, okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like a nice steely blue, is that right? Is that
It's never the same color.
Oh,
I
wow.
get gray, I get hazel, green, blue. So, yeah, that's
it's tough to see under the brim there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't need people looking at it right now.
Well, I'm getting lost in them as we speak.
Okay, this is exactly why I didn't want to talk about it. Why do you ask me this, Wes?
Because this has come up as a topic of conversation with my fiance, the wonderful Julia Amaral, and I've noticed that on multiple occasions over the last couple of months, I get complete strangers, grown men, in fact, complimenting me on my calves.
Your calves?
My calves.
They are. Yeah, okay, I can.
It probably is my best feature that I do zero effort for.
Yeah, well, the calves are the most frustrating muscle when it comes to working out and everything like that.
See, I think I have former fat guy calves.
Were you a fat guy?
I was a chubby kid. I was husky.
Really?
Yeah, I was husky.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah.
I've always known you
plump.
like this, pretty much.
Yeah, well, that was around high school-ish. I was real lazy in high school. I had a lot of second lunches.
Huh.
I didn't. Like The Hobbit.
Yeah. Levinsy's second breakfast.
Right.
Yeah. Supper, dinner. Which when is that ever? They're not the same thing.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, I didn't know that. So you got compliments on that this weekend, you said, or just in general?
So yeah, in general. So I've had Wesley Burrows from the Boxers podcast when we were at the Mac and Goo Dork Infinity War live show.
That's why
he complimented me on them.
That's why it sounds familiar to me. Okay.
So that was the first time. The second time was my future sister-in-law's boyfriend.
Future sister-in-law's boyfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then just this weekend, one of my buddies from college who I haven't seen for a while. And it's always the same situation. Like, I'm walking up in front of them on a staircase, and they happen to be eye level with my calves. And they're like, hey, nice calves. But, like, prior to leading up to my friend saying that to me over this weekend, I was telling Julia, and she's like, no, that's who does that? Who does that sort of thing? So it was like immediately. The first thing he says, hey, how are you? Good to see you. We bring our bags up to the hotel room. And he's like, hey, man, nice calves. Like, what are you doing with that?
How you doing, Jules?
And then
I
like
like them apples.
I go, you hear this? Do you hear this right? And then my buddy's like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing here?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so that's that. And the thing is I really try to accentuate it too. So I'll try to put up my leg here for the people on the live stream.
Well, we got to get the live stream working.
Well, we got this going on.
Oh, wow,
So I wear the sock high to really accentuate it. I'm not sure if that's coming across here. But so a nice black sock that really thins out the ankle, and then it's just all calf.
Yeah,
it's just all calf.
Oh,
so
I see. Yeah.
That's kind of my thing.
I don't have calves like you do. That's for damn sure. I've definitely tried to get calves.
Well, I walk with a purpose. I think that's part of it, and I often sometimes run on the balls of my feet, which I think helps.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you're just a natural athlete.
Well, yeah, I don't want to brag too much or anything like that, but like I said, former fat guy calves. That's the main impetus behind it.
So normally Wes is the only one that has a question to start the show.
But right? No, you have a good one.
And I love that format. But I do have one for you. So this weekend, we'll just leave it as someone invited me to come hang out. A friend of mine, we'll say.
Sure.
And it's just like, it doesn't matter from where, but they told me that they have a female friend who found me attractive, said I was cute.
Yes. Okay? And this was all via text message.
All via text message. So I'm like, okay, like that's great. Now, this person that I'm friendly with, I mean, we're friends, but we're not. I'm willing to bet that person has a closer relationship with the girl who thought I was cute. You know what I'm
she's
saying?
trying to help out her girlfriend more than she's trying to set you up.
Exactly. I think so.
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
My issue is that like, obviously you have to be attracted to somebody, right? Like,
Right.
physically attracted, that's important. But to me, if it's a person who's just a total deadbeat, like whether they're an a-hole or lazy, whatever, or stupid, then I'm going to find them less attractive. That's just the way it is. They can be a 10 out of 10.
Regardless of looks, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't want to ask first, like, what do they look like? Especially if I don't know, I don't trust that the person's it's not gonna get back to the person who finds me cute.
Right.
Because if they are attractive, and like, well, that's kind of lame that that's the first thing they asked about. So my question to you is, do you ask that question or not? Because I didn't.
So there's a couple ways around this, and of course it's 2019, so there's a lot of different forms of stalking that you can do. Not that I do, like, I don't actively participate in this now, of course. But I think you can ask, yes, to answer your question. I think that's okay. Do you have a picture? What's her name? And then you go search out her, like, Instagram or Facebook or something like that.
But see, if I, so you're saying it's okay to ask, but if I don't want to ask, and then
because she's clearly seen you.
Right. That's the other thing. It's like,
So that's only fair.
it's an unfair. I'm in an unfair predicament.
I
here.
understand. This
It's
is
like,
a episode of Seinfeld in 2019
Oh,
here.
100%. Yeah, you could totally make this. Like, what do I do? So I elected to not ask. I just sent a ha-ha with an emoji. I should have sent one of the monkey ones, but I did like the face palm thing.
I'm a big fan of the face palm.
I am too.
And the shrug. Those
yeah.
are my go-tos.
Yeah. So I right there with you. But I didn't ask her. She didn't, my friend didn't offer it up. So I'm like, what the hell? But we have a mutual friend that I would.
So you were at a stalemate in the conversation.
Exactly. And it actually just died then and there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I can wait, or I can ask our mutual friend that I know it will die there with this guy. He will not tell anybody, and he will have the intel. So I asked him. And whether or not that person's worth my time, well, we'll leave it at probably not.
Yeah, we'll leave out the details of that, but that was a very thorough scouting report of your friend on said prospect.
Yeah, just not. I don't think it's for me.
It wasn't a glowing review.
No, it was not.
No, it was not.
And that's it, all inclusive.
So then you probably still came off as a nice guy by not, saying send a pic or whatever,
Assuming that they don't listen to this podcast, then we're in trouble.
Right.
I think we're safe.
I think we're good.
Yeah, but that you never know.
Yeah, we're putting it out there nonetheless.
Yes, yeah, because we find out that people in Britain, or the UK, however you want to look at it,
we're big in the UK.
Yeah, apparently. But anyways, that's my question. Or
I love it. I think you could have. I think you're okay in the future if that comes up.
Ask.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just
welcome back.
Good to be back.
Episode 20 of the Change My Mind podcast. 7 minutes in, we're getting into the intro now, but I love that conversation nonetheless. I am, of course, Wesley Sykes, and across the table from me is the Eric B to my Rakim.
I don't get that
Nick
one.
Fryer.
Who's that?
EPMD. Eric B and Rakim. Hip-hop.
Hip-hop, that's why.
Yeah, hip-hop guys from like the
90s?
late 80s, early 90s, right, Tim? Tim, are you in there?
Oh, wait, I forgot that.
He's got to pull the mic down, too.
Hi, Tim.
He's,
yeah,
Tim's working around the clock here.
He's trying to get the YouTube stream set up for us, or made available to everybody.
Yeah, late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, exactly. So Tim is, I think we have a nice age gap between the three of us here that anything that we kind of miss, we can kind of fill each other in.
Yeah, exactly.
We can plug each other's holes, if you will.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's a pretty fair assessment. Although generally I don't, Jesus.
As you were saying. No. Hopefully you were watching on our live stream, which we just shared out with the world here on WBSM 1420 AM's YouTube page.
Yeah, I think I did.
Or you can check out our Twitter handle at Change My Mind Pod for that.
Yeah, that's where that usually is. It's such a pain in the butt at the start of every show.
I know. It's a real mad dash to the finish there.
Poor Tim's like trying to get it for me every single time.
I blame YouTube. YouTube seems to take a little while before it generates the video.
Yeah.
For where you can see it live.
But the thing is that we're used to it taking a while. We've had that happen before. This is getting ridiculous though. Usually 2 minutes I get.
I don't know. I keep re-putting it on the front page of the WBSM channel, and it keeps disappearing.
I don't know.
Well, that's what happens when we have a live show. Things happen.
Yeah, it's okay.
We got to roll with the punches here. So, with the release of the final Fox installment of the X-Men franchise, Dark Phoenix, we're debating the best class of superheroes.
Yes, I am.
So you got your mutants, your tech champions, your science, your skill, your mystics.
Yep, we're going based off of the Marvel Contest of Champions format, I guess we'll call it. And then we've inserted DC characters in there. We didn't bring in Spawn or any IDW characters or anything like that. Wes and I are much more comfortable with those.
We're just going to scratch the surface here and then leave it up to you, to people, to kind of help fill in the gaps.
Yeah, exactly. But we figured out a way to, integrate Superman, Batman, all these characters, all the heroes. We're really focusing on the heroes in the process, not so much villains, because that is, I think, a different conversation in some capacity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. But then we have some anti-heroes, like Magneto kind of falls into some gray area. But again, we can get into that.
And honestly, we're talking about like effectiveness today, more so than what's a more compelling character.
Right.
I think with villains, we could have that different conversation another time. But we have other news that we want to get to first.
Yes.
What do you got for me to start things off, Wes?
Well, yeah. So I think there might be an announcement for MCU Phase 4 that's impending.
Okay.
So, according to a story on June 9th from Screen Rant, speculation is beginning to swirl about when Kevin Feige will be releasing their newest slate of the next stage in the MCU. Feige has apparently been on the record saying that it won't be a major song and dance like they did for Phase 3, but with San Diego Comic-Con taking place on July 18th through the 23rd, and then Disney's own version of that, which is D23, on August 23rd and 24th, those seem like good times to kind of start eyeing that. Mm-hmm. So kind of going based off of past experience here. At 2017 San Diego Comic-Con, they announced such movies as from Phase 3 as Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel. Let me just add something in here. One minute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hoping that they come up soon. I would like them to, I'd like to have an idea of what we're looking at next.
Right. Yeah. So, there's a bunch of, anticipated release dates, but with no titles attached to them. So I know at this coming up D23, like I said, on August 23rd and 24th, they plan to honor Robert Downey Jr., Jon Favreau, James Earl Jones, and Ming-Na Wen at this Disney's Legends Award ceremony. This is day one of the event for their contributions to Star Wars and the MCU and the Disney movie line. And part of that event will also be devoted to, highlighting those Disney Plus shows. Your WandaVisions, your Lokis, your Captain Falcon and Winter Soldiers.
It's just Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
right?
well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Captain Falcon.
I just want to make sure that I didn't miss something.
Actually, maybe that was like a Freudian slip. Maybe that's something they'll add in there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, day two will reportedly featured Disney unveiling film plans for Marvel, Lucasfilms, Pixar, and Disney's live-action division. So this is probably on the 24th might be the right time to kind of really get this lined out here. But such films rumored to be in the Phase 4 Black Widow. I think that's like a definite.
Right.
Might be the first one out. Shang-Chi, which I might need some explanation on. Black Panther 2, Guardians 3, Doctor Strange 2, The Eternals, maybe Namor. Nick was very astute at pointing out at the little Easter egg and Endgame there, pointing to Namor. And Captain Marvel 2, and even Miss Marvel, a.k.a. Kamala Khan, who, Mindy Kaling, has been somewhat attached to it very loosely.
The girl who was in The Office?
Yes.
But I think Kamala Khan's like, I don't know much about her, but I think she's a kid in the comics.
I believe you're right. I don't know how. Yeah. I don't know if she would be involved in writing or what capacity. It was actually on Geeks Worldwide, but I didn't have the time to watch the video while putting this together. If it was just a story, there was like a link to an interview where she touches on it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe she's the mom in it. She probably doesn't like hearing that, but
yeah.
I mean that's maybe that's what it is. But it's a good list there.
But my question is: there anyone from that list that you are in dire needs of seeing first?
Well, anything Guardians. You got Rocket in there, and especially if Thor is going to be in it.
Right.
Rocket, Thor, and Star-Lord. I'm all in to take my money.
Now, Chris Hemsworth said he's going to take a year off acting altogether.
Where did you see that?
I saw that recently.
Oh, jeez.
I know that may be just some scuttlebutt floating around out there.
If it's just scuttlebutt, then okay. But I mean, the dude's entitled to take a break. But I would love to see that as the next movie, and I feel like they've set it up where that has to be the case. Unless they're going to go and then the start of the movie they're going to say, yeah, Thor's off doing his own thing. But
Right,
I
and you have Adam Warlock that was teased at the end of Guardians Volume 2, which I've been dying to see. I was hoping he would make some sort of an appearance in
the Infinity Saga.
Right.
Right. Black Panther 2, I think, I'm curious what they do with Shuri going forward. I think that she could end up, taking on a larger role.
And that's probably teases Namor, right? Because you were saying that those two were really at odds. Like they kind of had like a civil war type of thing going on.
What happened in the course of Endgame was we had Okoye. I guess there was an earthquake or whatever it was I still haven't seen it for a second time yet, but there was an earthquake or something happened at the bottom of the ocean. In Black Widow, when they had that meeting, they were still
with the telegram or holograms or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She brought up to Okoye, like, have you done anything about that or looked into it? It's like, what happens under the ocean, we don't
go down there. That's not our jurisdiction, pretty much.
We just let that happen. We leave what happens down there stays down there. That's just how it works. So that I believe that was a tease for Namor, and it would make sense that that's where maybe they integrate it, because with Marvel they did a good job of bringing in characters that we want, but doing so fluidly through another character's movies. I'd say Namor is one I'm kind of interested in, but it's still he's different. He's different from Aquaman, but at the same time, fish people.
Essentially the same, yeah.
So I'm excited for Black Widow, especially after seeing what that movie Anna's gonna look like, which I'm excited about. Yeah. I do want to see that. That's the one with the
what?
Anna?
Yeah.
You're not.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's been in previews for some of the movies that we've seen recently. I think it was in the John Wick one.
The last few movies I've seen, I've hawked illegally off the internet.
Okay, so you need to go and find the Anna. It's just ANNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And is this like a Red Sparrow, Black Widow?
It looks like it's like
Atomic
like
Blonde.
it's Black Widow. It looks like it's gonna be Black Widow, but the chick is like supermodel skinny.
Oh.
And she's kicking ass, and it's very. I think it looks good.
Okay. You got my attention. Yeah.
I don't know if it's something that'll have enough substance to it where we can talk about it, because I like Brightburn. There was a lot that went on with it.
It was like an onion.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
It was layers.
Yes, like an ogre, even, you could say.
Come again?
It's a Shrek reference.
Oh, I gotta brush up on my Shrek. I'm sorry.
But anyways, I like that. That makes good for a good movie review for what we do.
Okay.
But anyways,
I'd like to see Doctor Strange too. I thought he was the real MVP. The not so heralded MVP of the Infinity Saga, more so Infinity War than Endgame. And I thought he just really became super badass. And I would like to see where they go. And then obviously with the enhancements of CGI as time passes, I think the options are kind of limitless with him. But that's my 2 cents on that. What do you got?
The Eternals, too, I'm curious because I
don't know much about them.
I don't know much about them either. But I can't remember the female's name that I saw thrown around, but I felt like it was a big name.
Okay.
And I definitely saw Keanu Reeves, but I've also seen him thrown around for Wolverine, too. Which
I don't know how I feel about that.
These are just rumors. Yeah. I don't know how valid they are, if they're just fan cast, but I don't think Keanu would be a good Wolverine.
Zac Efron?
I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. I mean, he might be able to no, he Wolverine. Hugh Jackman is obviously very good looking, but Wolverine's not supposed to be like this dashing guy.
Right.
And Hugh Jackman's facial hair kind of made up for it. You know what I mean? He's still a hunk, but it was just his facial hair was just grisly enough that it made sense. I don't Zac Efron's a pretty boy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Jackman is not that type of attractive. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, he's not universally attractive.
It's not. I mean, he's got more of a lumberjack feel, and that's not what I'm going for. But it's more along those lines.
Yeah.
Anyways, so
but no love for Captain Marvel too.
I'm gonna see it. I don't know what to expect with it.
Yeah, I'm just they unless they do something like Thor Ragnarok-esque that really kind of changes the character on its head. I'm like, I'll go and watch it. It'll be like Dark Phoenix for me. I'll go and watch it, but I'm not really expecting a whole lot.
I would say my 1-2 punch are probably Guardians and Black Widow, and then Black Panther as my third. Those are the 3 I'm probably looking forward to.
Black Widow will be good. That'll be interesting.
And I think now that they know how big of an impact Black Panther had, I'm really curious to see what kind of risks they take with that movie.
Right.
Because I thought it was good. I don't think it was as good as it was perceived to be or made out to be.
But with the expectations now.
But yeah, now it's like it's like people really like this character. You can kind of, I don't know what pushing the envelope's going to look like necessarily, but you can try different things. So my little bit of news that I wanted to bring up was I saw this on, it popped up on Twitter, and I don't know where it rooted from, but apparently Justin Bieber wants to fight Tom Cruise.
Yeah, this completely threw me for a loop. I tried to do some digging into what this whole situation was about and came up empty.
So he tweeted this out on Sunday. I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared, and you will never live it down. Who is willing to put on the fight? And then he tagged Dana White, obviously. Are
we sure
UFC.
Justin Bieber's not on drugs?
No, we're not sure at all.
Because he looks kind of like,
I can't stand it.
kind of messed up.
Have you ever liked Justin Bieber?
Yeah, there was a stretch where he came out with a few bangers.
Really?
Yeah. What do you mean? What do you mean? Do. Right?
Yeah, you do a good Bieber impression.
Well, I dabble.
But the big takeaway from this was Jared Padalecki, who plays Sam Winchester in Supernatural, which Wes has never seen.
Yeah, I question how the big takeaway is this, but anyway.
He said, well, I think anybody that wants to kick Bieber's ass is my kind of guy, or my kind of person, if a girl wants to do it too. On a totally unrelated note, does anybody have a Tom Cruise mask that I can borrow? He tweeted that out while quote tweeting what Bieber...
Now, is that an allusion to Mission Impossible or to his character on Supernatural?
No, it's just him. It's just him saying that he wants to kick Justin Bieber's ass.
But the whole mask thing, I feel like that's like an homage to Mission Impossible.
I mean, it could be, but I think he's just saying I want a Tom Cruise mask so that I can fight Bieber for Tom Cruise.
So I'm thinking too much about this.
Yes, and Padalecki's a big dude too.
Is he?
He would ruin him.
I still think at 60, 65 years old, I don't know how old Tom Cruise is at this point. I think he could take just about anybody. He's got a low center of gravity. He's completely reckless and off his rocker. He's got that Scientology strength.
Yeah, he is a little crazy. You're right about that.
You see him jumping down on the couch?
No.
I don't want to mess with that crazy.
But I don't know what you're talking about.
You never saw him jump up and down on the couch about saying, he loved Katie Holmes when he was on Oprah, and everyone's like, what's wrong with this guy?
Oh, no, I've never seen that.
Oh, Tim, help me out.
Yeah, no, it was pretty famous. It was like the talk of everything.
It was all
6
over.
months.
And then he was like keeping Katie Holmes as like a under house arrest or as a prisoner or something.
People still make references to the couch jumping.
Oh yeah,
I don't know how that's passed you by.
Have you heard the Joey Perp song, God Body Part 2?
No.
There's a reference to it. The RZA makes a reference to it.
I've never heard of that before. The other bit of news that we got...
It was a deep cut. It was a deep cut on hip-hop.
The other stuff's not that deep of a cut. I just don't know about it. The other bit of news, we're reviewing Dark Phoenix next week, as Wes mentioned earlier in the show. It did not have a good opening weekend.
Kind of a mixed bag.
32.8 million domestic. It did well foreign, over 103. I don't know how long it's been out overseas, but...
I would imagine Thursday was the worldwide release.
I guess so. So far, it's got 136.57 million, which is, I'm
sure
you can't really judge the foreign box office as a success, because that's just how many people went in there with cameras to record it, to upload it to the internet.
So that I can watch this free of charge and do a review on it for next week. Thank you very much.
Just with the Korean subtitles.
Well, I can handle that.
Yeah.
So it got wrecked on the that stupid website that we like to dump on every once in a while, known as Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
But
also the podcasts that I listen to that review movies and everything, we're all just like blah.
Okay. Well, IMDb gave it we'll talk about it again next week, but right now it's at a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, which is surprising to me.
That's more of a blah.
Yeah.
I would say a 22 or whatever, I think is what Rotten Tomatoes gave it. That's trash.
It's trash. Yeah.
That's on Hellboy level, which got like a 16 or something like that.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
okay.
I don't know. So I am nervous about this movie.
Well, my expectations weren't high. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling I probably will be for this movie. I'll probably have to be. With the reviews being as bad as it was, but
you'd be high either way. Let's be honest.
No, I've been very good recently. Actually, I've been on the straight and narrow.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly because I'm poor.
That definitely has an impact on things.
Yes,
for sure. But quickly on the Comic Minute before we learn what we got to stay woke about this week, the finale for Batman Who Laughs issue 6, the end of the miniseries, comes out this week. So keep your eye out for the trade. That'll be coming out a little bit later on, but I'm very excited to review that. That'll be on Geeks Worldwide. Another item that I'm hoping to read, I don't know if I'm going to have time this week, though, so I don't know if I'll review it, but Event Leviathan. It's a 6-issue miniseries.
One more time with that title?
Event Leviathan. So the word event and then Leviathan. And now if you've been reading Silencer or saw the Superman special that came out last week, it's a crime group that was run by Talia al Ghul, but now there's someone else who's kind of in charge. So the synopsis, this is off previewsworld.com. The groundbreaking and always inventive team of writer Brian Michael Bendis and artist Alex Maleev reunite on a mystery thriller that stretches across the DC universe and touches every character from Batman to Superman to the question to Talia al Ghul. With startling ease, a new, dangerous, and aggressive Leviathan wipes out all its competition and now turns its sights to molding the world into its vision of order. Can the new threat's growth be stopped? And who's guiding its new agents of chaos? Also, Red Hood's out this week, which I'm very excited about. Wes,
very nice.
What should I stay woke about this week?
Let's see. Well, this is something it appears that you're already woke about.
Really?
Yeah, because you tipped me off for this. So the headline this week is dodgeball a sport that oppresses the participants?
Did you see this, Tim?
No.
Okay, so Tim hasn't seen it. All right.
So in a Washington Post story brought to my attention by Nick, Canadian scholars, which should be your first signal here, have come out and said that the sport operates in the 5 phases of oppression, which, of course, we all know are exploitation, marginalization, powerlessness, cultural imperialism, and violence. The message is that it's okay to hurt or dehumanize the other. Miss Butler, I believe it's Joy Butler is her name, said in an interview with the Washington Post, the competition is about annihilating one's opponent, and the true definition of competition is between 2 evenly matched teams. Well, kids stack their teams, and they really enjoy beating the other team. What's the enjoyment of that? My question is, how soft are we becoming as a nation?
This is so freaking
The participation trophies is something that I was very much against. And now I've kind of softened, but now I just don't, I'm just kind of indifferent. All right, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But this is
so you know what my dad actually...
Why have any sort of AAU teams or any sort of travel select
Why have professional
teams?
Sports?
Right.
So actually with, on the participation trophy note, when my dad, had a big part in running my little league, and eventually what he did was eliminate the participation trophies. It was,
See, I do respect that move.
And what he did was he still gave something to all the kids, though. He gave them a T-shirt.
Okay.
Way better.
Nice.
So everybody gets a T-shirt, and they were actually some pretty cool ones. And then the second place team gets a trophy. I think the regular season champion got a trophy, and then the playoff champion got a trophy.
Okay, so everything that you would get a trophy for in your average sports.
Exactly. Yeah. And then everybody gets a T-shirt. That's way better. Because what are we going to do with that trophy? You're going to throw it out later.
No, it's going to be junk. It's plastic anyway.
Exactly. Even the championship trophies, what are you really going to do with those in the end? So,
after high school, right? I mean, what do you...
Honestly, after having them for a month, what are you going to do with them anymore? But anyways, so yeah, with this, Wes, it's just... the people that are...
What were your thoughts on this?
My first thought with anything like this is, am I hearing from the people who I threw dodgeballs and hit them in the face in high school? Or am I hearing from people who are like me, or people who are in the middle ground a little bit more, who could take it or leave it? Because I won't lie, I was competitive in gym class.
Sure, we all should have been. I was definitely competitive in gym class.
Tim, were you?
No, we used to make fun of the kids that would go all out in gym class.
Okay, but see, there's a difference between going all out and being competitive, don't you think?
No, I mean, we kind of just did it to goof around. But I don't understand the whole concept of how dodgeball is the one unit in gym that would always make kids feel like the most inadequate. Dodgeball was the one where everybody was kind of on the most even playing field. I thought.
I think the rope,
so too.
The rope is really challenging, I think.
I never had the rope.
Oh, so we would have the physical fitness challenge, that you would get the presidential or whatever. And
yeah, we had that too. I think they eliminated the rope at that point, or just Westport didn't have it, I guess. But
I
you're talking about the climb, right?
Yeah, because everyone's watching you, and it's just you. It's not like you can hide amongst your teammates.
No, that's brutal.
It's tough.
I gotta imagine that's tough.
Yeah, and anybody has a chance in dodgeball. I mean,
of course,
just grab a ball, hold on to it, use it to deflect the other balls.
Right.
You know, we actually took dodgeball to another level. We played a game called Watusi,
I feel like I've heard of this. Explain
which
it to me
was
one more
it's
time.
basically capture the flag and dodgeball combined.
Okay.
It was literally the greatest game in the history of gym class.
Oh, dude, the article that I saw, because I didn't see it out of the Washington Post originally.
Okay, yeah, it got picked up everywhere.
It was, I think, I saw it out of, it was something Canada, something from Canada. I don't
Sure.
know. Sorry, I'm not crediting the people, but they mentioned tag, and they criticized tag in the course of it all,
and capture the flag
and
is
they
one of them.
criticized capture the flag as like a military thing. Dude, seriously, like screw off. You're gonna get all pissed off about or triggered about capture the flag. That was the best game ever because that one's you can't. I don't think you can go harder when it comes to that.
No,
because you're running around like crazy.
I still say Watusi was better than capture the flag.
That's fine,
I
Tim.
have to teach you guys this game, and then we will organize a league.
I would love that.
That's fine. I had a lot of fun with dodgeball too. I was honestly, I struggled with dodgeball because I always get a lot of run on it.
It's
you got too much
basically
cutter.
so imagine dodgeball. So you got the dodgeball set up. You have the jail. You know how you can like knock people out of jail, and then instead of a flag, you have a giant ball on a cone in the back end, like in the back end zone of your side. And so the idea is to knock that ball off the cone instead of capturing the flag. So you don't need to run to the other side and grab it.
But you could throw another ball to hit it off.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to throw another ball to.
We had
hit
something
it.
similar to that, like pin dodgeball, where we had to knock over. There was a few pins and you had to protect them. But that does sound like a fun game.
A lot of fun. And then you can get everybody out of jail by hitting the other ball that's in front of the
Yeah,
jail.
Right,
Oh, so much
right.
fun.
So let me ask you.
My thing, real quick, on Captain Capture the Flag was I would always gingerly cross the line and then hold my hand up and say, I got hit. I'm going to jail.
Yep, I know that
I
maneuver.
try to sneak everyone by. And I'm like, nah, I got you guys.
And then once you get the
Yeah.
flag, where does it go? Immediately.
Down your pants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Down your pants. Yeah. No, Tim and I, we got it.
So let me ask you, going back to
Real
dodgeball,
sneaky sons of bitches.
because again, we're in different eras here. When I played, we didn't have the kickball that
Right.
you use. We had we had squishy balls.
yeah, they're like pillows.
Okay, Tim, I'm sure you didn't have that, did you, Tim? Did you have more like a kickball?
I feel like we were transitioning out of that as a kid.
Have what?
for a
Like
dodgeball.
the red rubber balls.
No, those are the only balls that you play.
Yeah.
No,
dodgeball with.
I didn't play with
You
those.
they have to sting, or else what's the point?
No, we didn't play with those. I
What'd you
had
play with,
it
like
was like
beach balls?
it was like a squishy ball. Like it was
that's
like
lame.
it
Yeah.
had like cushion around it. It was, I don't know. if
It's like
air pack.
styrofoam or something
like that. Yeah,
Not
styrofoam's not what it was, but I know what
Didn't
you
they
mean.
get rid
Yeah.
of, like, by the time you guys were in gym, didn't they get rid of the old wooden scooters and replace them with those ones with the handles and the seats?
Yes, yeah, I remember
Yeah,
those
I
too.
think-
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
we had the just a board with wheels, like a mechanic uses to go underneath the car.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we had those, and like you slammed into each other with those. You get fingers jammed up in the wheels.
Oh, the
Oh.
kneecaps.
Oh, yeah.
You're bumping knees left and right.
But this honestly, I just feel like the problem is with all these games and people dumping on them is the people who have a voice, who are the smarter people, I would say, in the world, are generally people who got their asses beat in these things.
Well, yeah, and here's my thing on this too, right? So, like, obviously, this Joy Butler was picked on in high school and hated the game of dodgeball, and everyone who's it even sounds like the writer
So much fun.
was as well. But again, exactly off your point, I was not the best athlete. And it was really a shame because I was blessed with such desire to be a good athlete
And great calves.
and none of the skill. But yeah, I still got the calves. I'm still lacking the skill in most athletic areas. But I always wanted to play, and that was my drive. That was my drive to get better or at least try to and make attempt to it and like work on it. And that's what you learn from that game. That's what that game teaches. You don't want to suck and you don't want to be the last one. Well, go out and play better. You don't want to get an F on your math test. Go out and study harder. Isn't that the same thing?
That's what all sports are. They teach you how to deal with failure and how to work through that.
Yes.
And it's
baseball, right? What's the old cliche about baseball?
game of failure.
Yeah, you fail 7 out of 10 times, 0 success.
Yeah, exactly. Golf's really the game of failure.
Right. That's for masochistics, yeah.
Exactly. Golf's cruel and unusual punishment. Baseball is the game of failure. And the thing is that's so great about sports in these games, if you want to call it dodgeball or sport, whatever, like you can fail in that setting. And then guess
Yes.
what? Nothing bad happens. You failed and that's really it. In the grand scheme of things, not a big deal.
No, you go back to your regular life.
But you learn to work hard and work through that.
Right.
Whereas in school, if you fail on a test, if you fail on a test in middle school, nothing really is gonna happen.
Right, but you get up to college or your finals in high school and that sort of thing.
But by going through it in
MCAS,
different settings, in sports and in maybe in music or whatever, and then in the classroom, now you've learned to deal with it in various settings. So in different walks of life, you're gonna know how to deal with failure and battle through it. Because guess what? When you're an adult, it's not just you're gonna fail at work. You're gonna fail on, I don't know, paying the mortgage or being a good parent or being a good son or daughter or whatever, or sibling. Like all this stuff you have to balance. So why am I just going to learn about it in the classroom?
I completely agree with you.
So friggin' dumb,
The same could be said about ostracizing people who are in like spelling bees and geography bees and all that sort of thing.
What do you mean?
Well, like the people who lose in that, like isn't that creating exploitation, marginalization, powerlessness, cultural imperialism? Not violence.
All sports are like that in the grand scheme of things. All sports are like that.
Even like academic, competitive academic events.
Oh, yeah. It's terrible what you do to those kids. I mean, because now it's like, oh, you're not as good as the other kid because they're smarter than you.
Right. So if that's the theory that we're going off here, then like anything competitive is just going to get wiped out. And then what's the point of doing anything?
There's a lot of things that we need to progress with in this world, and we're doing a good job of it. But there are a lot of things where it's like we're trying to do a little bit too much.
Yes.
I can't stress enough how much I appreciate all the failures I've had in life. It took me a while to realize them, but it has made me so much better at everything.
I agree. I agree. Now, I'm happy I chose this one because I was going back and forth between this and the Straight Pride Parade. Which is something else completely different that we don't have to get into.
Well, that's not happening till August anyway.
Right, so we got some time.
We'll talk about that another time, I'm sure. But anyways, that's
just a real joke for the city of Boston, right? It's like that was the big topic of discussion amongst my non-Massachusetts friends when I was down in New Jersey for this wedding.
Yeah,
and it's really a bad look.
It's just a bad look. Yeah, I do want.
That's my 2 cents.
We can definitely talk about that for sure at some point. But so for everybody out there, stop playing dodgeball, because it doesn't promote the right things in the world, and we want to treat everybody nice. And if you're not wrapping your kid in a bubble at this point, you're a caveman.
Everybody's equal. Everybody is fantastic.
So you know what? Actually,
no one does anything wrong.
Then our subject we really shouldn't talk about today. I think all
That's
superheroes, all of them are great. All of them are equal. I think that Superman and that ambush bug are on the same playing field. You know, totally the same equivalent type of superhero.
We see Tim shaking his head over there. You know, he's likes ambush bug a lot more.
Why don't you know what you're talking about before you talk about it?
You're lucky there's a computer and a desk between us, Tim. Anyways, so this week we wanted to, in preparation for Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Wes and I, as we've talked about before on this show, we are two sides of the same coin. Is that right?
I believe so.
And we obviously look at things differently in the course of our movie fandom, our comic fandom, and all that. And one thing that Wes, we made pretty clear, Wes is an Iron Man guy when it comes to the MCU. I am a Captain America guy. I think there's a definitive line.
Are you though?
Of course I am. What do you continue to doubt me like this? This is on Twitter too. Cap's my guy through and through.
Okay.
But when it comes to superheroes in general, there are obviously a bunch of different types. If you look at Marvel Contest of Champions, which is our template, as I said earlier in the show.
Which is a fun game. If you have an Android or iPhone, you can download it in your app store. It's a good little time kill.
I do, I like that one. I also like DC Legends. I'm a big fan of that one.
So I'm strictly Marvel, but I hear you on that.
I can understand that. Now, in Contest of Champions, the 6 classes are Mutant, Cosmic, Mystic, Science, Skill, and Tech. Okay, and Wes and I both like mutants a lot, but we have our various preferences throughout the course of it all, and we wanted to figure out. I don't know who you think is the best group. I don't know which one you value the most.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it into categories. I ranked them on power, fighting ability / smarts.
Okay.
Teamwork. And then the last one was difference maker. So who has the most heavy hitters, I would say, in their group.
Yeah.
So
who's going to be batting fourth in your lineup?
Exactly. So do we want to I know I didn't give you that beforehand, but do you want to hear my rankings on that before we get going?
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah. So since you have it, and then I'll critique it without having any background knowledge. Okay. So that's how I operate best, I think. So just blindly criticizing things.
You do a very good job of that. So as my tied for, I guess it'd be fourth? tied for 5th.
Okay.
I have Tech and Mystic at 16 points. The higher the points, the worse.
Okay.
So Tech and Mystic at 16. Then tied
We're already in a disagreement.
at 3rd, I have Science and Skill. At 2nd, I have Cosmic with 12 points. And then in 1st place, I have Mutants with 8. I will admit I think my system's a little flawed, but I think my 1-2 punch are interchangeable and correct.
Wait, so your number 1 is Mutants.
Based
okay,
on-
so
yeah.
higher the points, the lower your ranking is.
Yes. So that's
It's like
why
golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
When the hosts aren't listening.
Right.
I just said
Did you say like golf?
Yeah, I did.
I was trying to soak it all in.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So again, for
It's about time that came around.
So everybody, for those who got confused, 1st is Mutants, 2nd Cosmics, then tied for 3rd is Science and Skill, and then tied for 5th technically is Mystic and Tech.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, I got you.
So
Yes, we are in disagreement here.
okay, so where are we in disagreement?
Tech. Big tech fan. I believe that could be among the top. Mm-hmm. If not, that is my preferred class. Because when you talk about it, you go over to the DC universe. We'll start there, right? You get Cyborg.
Yep.
What can he do?
Cyborg's huge.
What can he do? Then you got Batman and the entire Bat family, which was a point of debate, a little contentious debate here.
I put Batman in the Tech one. I don't put all of the Bat family in there. Nightwing's definitely not. With Red Hood, I think that one's tough. I mean,
But do they have access to Batman's database?
I mean, they might hack into it. Like Red Hood can hack into it and can use his own stuff, and he does use some tech. But Nightwing's
Red
not
Hood's
a tech
kind of off. Like Nightwing's
not a tech guy.
He's not.
No,
No,
he's not a tech guy.
Okay,
Definitely not.
I'll take your word on that. Okay.
That girl, I guess you could say, is tech too, but there's a lot of skill to what she does. But either way, yeah, tech. Again, like I said, my system is a little flawed here.
We got Cyborg. We have Batman. We have Vision, who I understand in the MCU may not be that powerful, but he really is a huge force.
Yep.
You have, Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. Yeah, he's a tech guy.
Okay. You have Rocket Raccoon.
Love my guy.
You have Nebula. Pretty badass.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty badass. Iron Man, of course.
Yep.
Who is a huge
Heavy hitter, yeah.
Yeah, a huge heavy hitter. Howard the Duck, if you want to put him in there.
Yeah, that's Tim. Do you got anything you want to add about Howard the Duck? I know he's your guy next to Ambush Bug.
I'd kind of say you can't really put him in any. I mean, maybe he's cosmic.
Okay.
Oh, he could be. Okay. But he
it-
does have a lot of good tech stuff, doesn't he? He's a gadget guy.
A lot of it blows up in his face.
Oh, so he's not a good gadget guy.
Sometimes he's more of a luck guy than anything.
Oh, Howard the Lucky Duck.
Yes.
Howard the Duck with luck.
Okay.
Okay, but what really
Ultron
brings
too,
it home to
but
me?
he's not a hero.
No. So what really brings it home to me is Vision, Batman, Cyborg, Iron Man, Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord. Those are six of them right there. Mm-hmm. And it's tough too because Spider-Man, like in Marvel Contest of Champions, Spider-Man, there's so many different iterations of him.
Spider-Man's a science guy.
He's science,
Science.
but he uses his technology to his advantage. It just depends on what type of Spider-Man you prefer.
And that's something. Yeah, I hate that he doesn't have like he did in the animated series where he shoots the web from his wrist.
Yeah, that's what you want.
I hate that he doesn't have that. It's terrible.
Right.
I don't know. That's what he was in the first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and that's always going to be my Spider-Man. Not what Andrew Garfield was, not what Tom Holland is, and that's always like. That's where, as much as Tom Holland's...
I think Andrew Garfield doesn't create. Oh no, he does. He does.
Yeah, he
Excuse
does.
me. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
retract.
that's where, like, as much as I like Tom Holland more than any of the three, it's just always going to bug me a little bit that he uses tech to shoot his webs.
See, I love that because that uses makes you a little bit more humanistic. Now, again, that's not really for what we're doing with this argument.
No, but yeah.
But that's why I'm kind of more partial to the tech characters to begin with, is that because they use their cunning, their God-gifted talents in a lot of ways, or their financial means.
So when it comes to that's usually huge. So when it comes to your score with your ranking, where would you say tech kind of falls in this group?
I would have to say number 2.
Number 2. Really?
Yeah, 2 for me.
What's number 1?
I'm a big Mystic guy.
You're gonna.
Mystic, Cosmic is tough. There's a lot of good Cosmic ones in there.
Okay, we're not talking about like most entertaining characters, because if I'm saying most entertaining, for me, it's skill and it's mutant. Okay, I'm putting Red Hood and I'm putting Deathstroke in skill. You might want to.
Okay.
Deathstroke's actually kind of sciencey, so that's a tough one. I guess across the board, I would say mutant, and that's only Marvel. Like most consistent characters where they're fun and enjoyable and dynamic and dark and whatever. But we're talking sheer fighting, Wes. How do you not go with Cosmic?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I just I'm really drawn to Doctor Strange and the entire Sorcerer Supremes, and I think he's completely untapped as far as a resource. As far as the MCU is concerned. You got your Shazams, who is essentially Superman, but he's got the mystic power. Like, what is his downfall? Same could be said for Black Adam, villain, I know. Get your John Constantine. He's got the hand of God with him.
My guy. I love Constantine.
Of course, I'm putting Wonder Woman in this.
I don't think Constantine's on Netflix anymore, by the way.
Oh, no, they took it off?
I went to go watch it the other day. I was really bummed.
It's a fun watch. It's a good movie. That holds up.
But Wonder Woman, yes, Wonder Woman's a great one, too. Brother Voodoo.
Loki, Scarlet Witch.
Loki's listed as mystic on the game, but I mean,
what else would he be? He's the god of mischief.
He's a god. Wouldn't he be cosmic like Thor is?
Yeah, but he's a god. Like, he's adopted.
Yeah. But
I know he's out from outer space.
That's a tough one.
That is a tough one. You got Ghost Rider out there. You like some Nicolas Cage? How do you feel about Nick Cage?
Yeah. Okay, Ghost Rider is a good call.
Iron Fist. Now I know we're not talking about the Netflix stuff here. Iron Fist in general is a really badass character, I would say. I was very excited for
I don't think he's that badass.
The start of Iron Fist, and it never really materialized.
I think he's pretty lame. I think he should be badass. He has a pretty good look. I think he's always been pretty lame. That's me, personally. I think he's... But Scarlet Witch is obviously a strong one.
Wonder Woman? Would you call it Wonder Woman? Or is that...
I think Wonder Woman's the right call.
Okay.
I think Wonder Woman's the right call, because the difference between Wonder Woman and Loki is there...
And Aquaman, of course. I think we decided on that. I didn't have that in there.
Yep, Aquaman. Yep, I agree with you. Because they're still from Earth as much as there is like another worldly entity to them.
Yeah.
But when you look at Cosmic, if we're going... You want to start with DC, you have Superman, you have Supergirl, any of the Kryptonians.
Any of the supers, yeah.
You have Starfire, which will be part of our 2v1 this week.
I got a quick lesson on her.
Green Lantern, the entire Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, and that might tip the scale.
Good luck against that.
Okay, yeah, Martian Manhunter.
Oh yeah, that's a great call, Martian Manhunter. And then if you look at in Marvel, let's see, what do you got here? You got Captain Marvel,
the Venoms, any of the
Carnage,
symbiote Spider-Man,
Gamora,
yeah,
Groot, Heimdall, Thor, Ronan.
Captain Marvel, Black Bolt. Oh, yeah, that's tough.
I
think it's got, yeah.
So when we're talking sheer power, I think Cosmic wins. But if we're talking...
Because it's tough to define a lot of those superheroes' powers.
Right. But when you start talking about stories, I don't necessarily like the Cosmic characters that much.
Right, because again, it's the relatability factor,
They're
right?
just too strong.
Yeah.
Like who are you losing to?
But okay, so I'm putting it up like let's put Cosmic and Mystic up against one another here, right? Mm-hmm. Doctor Strange against who? I think
Superman.
Yeah, I think that's fairly even.
I don't think so.
Well, I guess you would need the kryptonite.
Yeah, you need the kryptonite.
But you could put them off into different dimensions. You could send them into a different plane.
Laser vision, ice breath.
Yeah, but he can
faster than a speeding bullet.
He can split himself into Doctor Strange. I'm talking about into multiple different people.
Let me ask you something: who's winning in a fight, Thanos or Superman?
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you.
Exactly. That's why. So Superman wins. It's just.
But Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel.
Isn't the age-old fight usually more Thanos versus Darkseid?
Oh yes.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
But because they're like some very similar characters, and then there's also Apocalypse you can throw in there too.
That'd be the most boring fight ever, though.
Which one?
Any of those.
Yeah, they're too overpowered. But then Apocalypse brings mutants back into the fray, and they're totally I can't believe you have you have Tech as 2 and you have Mystic as 1. So does that mean Mutant is your number 4, or are they 5?
I don't know. I think I'm talking myself out of this. I really love a lot of the X-Men too. Because they're
God!
If you consider Magneto to be an anti-hero, which I think is fair.
You can I think that's fair.
He's almost unstoppable. and then in Cosmic and Mutant, you got Jean Grey as a mutant. Then you have, obviously, Dark Phoenix as some sort of cosmic entity.
Yeah.
Who might be the most powerful
of them all.
Superhero, whatever you want to say, in the whole bunch.
I mean, and then Rogue, she has all the powers of Captain Marvel and then some.
Right.
And then she can absorb the powers of anybody. I mean, Wolverine is if Magneto's on your side, Wolverine becomes that much more dangerous.
Right, because then you don't have to worry about the whole metal thing.
Exactly.
And then you got Professor X hopping into people's minds.
Psylocke. I mean, there's so many others.
Nightcrawler.
I see. That's where I think it's Cosmic. The only one that's gonna put up a decent fight against them are the mutants. Mystic's good. Mystic is. I mean, like I said, my scale. That's where my issue was. Mystic's too far down on that list.
Now I might make an argument that we have misplaced Ant-Man and the Wasp in the wrong category. They're science that we have right now. I think they're tech.
That is a good point. And
it's a very much gray area, because I think what we're defining as science is like something like Captain America getting the super serum.
Yeah.
Or like.
So they should be in
the
tech.
Flash.
Banner and the Hulk.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Flash. Deathstroke, because Deathstroke is technically science. He became a metahuman.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of tough, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm twisting myself in a pretzel here as we talk about this.
No, it's a tough conversation to have, Wes.
You have Emma Frost, right? Because she was one of the original X-Men before going bad. Doesn't she essentially go into like diamond form and is like impenetrable?
Yep, impenetrable. Yes.
Did I overpronounce that?
You might have a little bit. I'm sorry. That's a bad reflex. I shouldn't have done that. I'm a dick. But anyways, So I mean, at the end of it all, I'm surprised how easily I'm changing your mind in the course of all this.
Oh, it's tough.
I'm very proud of myself. At the end of it all,
it's almost like we have the name of a show to live up to.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But I think that what's really tough is science has some really, really heavy-hitting characers. Obviously, with the Hulk.
Any of the Hulks, right?
And
Human Torch, any of the Fantastic Four.
Mm-hmm. Luke Cage. He gets.
Well,
I think he gets.
Is the Fantastic Four would be cosmic?
I wouldn't call them science. Yeah, they're cosmic.
They'd be cosmic. Yeah,
that's a good point.
That's true. Yeah,
that is a good point. That adds another.
Wow.
Well, I mean, then you got Mr. Fantastic, who's the greatest superhero character ever to be written about. I friggin' hate that guy. The worst.
He's a smart guy.
By the way, rumors this week, they're working on a reboot.
You saw? Oh, where were you in news?
You mentioned it in news?
No, we didn't mention it in news.
Oh, well, they're talking about The Rock to play the Thing.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
That could be interesting.
Okay.
I almost feel like that could save however terrible the movie would be.
Right.
That's the type of role that you can put The Rock in. Where we talk about...
But, that's almost too on the nose. The Rock playing a rock monster.
Kind of.
It is, but the Thing and the Human Torch are the two characters that I like there. I don't mind Sue Storm, but I just can't get past Mr. Fantastic. I need Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. It's the only way I'm going to kind of enjoy him.
I had a strange out of the box thinking Jim Carrey is Mr. Fantastic.
Oh. That could be interesting. I want to see how he does
new
in
Jim
the
Carrey.
Sonic.
I'll tell you what, I'd see that movie. 100%.
That has me intrigued, but I have some questions about that. I'm just not. I'm not completely sold on it.
I don't know if it's a great idea, but I'd still see it.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I think Krasinski would be a good idea.
That's the popular one with Emily Blunt and Sue Storm.
Oh. Yeah.
Right, because they're obviously a couple as it is, so they would have that built-in chemistry.
Great job in what was the movie that they didn't talk in?
Oh, Quiet Place.
Quiet Place. That was. Did you like that?
No, but I think that's on Netflix.
You didn't like that movie?
I'm sorry. No, I haven't watched it.
Oh, it's worth your time, Wes. Yeah. Tim, did you like that movie?
I still haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it either?
No.
Oh, guys, that's so good.
Okay.
I really, really enjoyed that. I gotta watch that again now that we say that. But when it comes to the science has some good ones. I mean, She-Hulk is another great character who we don't get to see because of property issues and stuff. I would put Spider-Man under this.
Captain America. Then you have Winter Soldier, also with the science serum,
like
super
we said,
serum.
having Flash in here is and all the speedsters. I guess they're technically science too. We were looking that up before the show. That's huge too because they obviously make a big difference. But I like the skill characters the most. when it comes down to it. Like,
Yeah, they're the most compelling.
Yeah, because I mean, I put Red Hood in there because there is skill to what he does and how he fights and everything. Batman is borderline skill, and
Punisher,
Nightwing, Daredevil,
Moon Knight.
My guy, Moon Knight.
Taskmaster.
And even then, he had some otherworldly abilities at some point.
Yeah, that's true.
And Deathstroke is kind of a skill character, too, as much as he
Black Widow.
under science. Yep, Black Widow.
Blade. Well, Blade was like...
He's a vampire, too. He's a daywalker.
Right, but he's half human, though.
Yeah, exactly.
But is he or is he mystic? Because a vampire.
Well, in the game, he's listed as a skill character.
Skill, right. But now that we're kind of talking this through...
Yeah, there's so many gray areas with all these characters.
I know. Falcon, of course.
Right, yeah. There's no
Elektra.
There's no gray area with that guy.
Hawkeye.
But if someone said to you, Wes, that from here on out, you can only have... So, in terms of the strongest characters, are we in agreement on Cosmic now?
Yeah, I think you got me on Cosmic.
Now, what's your number 2? Are you going Mystic still, or are you going Mutants? Because I think those should be the 2, 3. Well, actually, no, you have Tech still, because I know you love your Tech.
I love my Tech. If I had the choice, I would want to be a Tech superhero.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
Yeah.
That's
think
what we
Because
should.
it doesn't have to be so disrupting to your life.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I don't have to be walking around with blue hair.
Like if you're Tony Stark and you want to retire, you retire.
Retire, and I could do that comfortably.
Right.
See, I'd love to be a mutant, but at the same time, you're on the risk of turning into a mutant that's.
But what if you're like
a
Mystique?
Morlock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mystique has.
Or like Nightcrawler, for example. Great abilities, but you can't just blend in like everyone knows who you are.
Right. Yeah, this is true.
You can't turn it off.
That's the risk you run, and you also run the risk of not being able to turn it off and getting a crappy superpower too.
Right.
Like,
Well, I know for a long
that would
time.
suck. That would be the worst.
Like Beast, for example.
Yeah, kind of.
I know for a long time my choice of profession as a child was Wolverine.
Right, we hit on that at one point. Yeah, for sure.
But I believe I've graduated from that.
I think I'd still want to be a mutant. I think if gun to my head, if I'm picking a character to be, I think the first 3 characters that I think of that I want to be are probably Magneto, Wolverine, and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Magneto, huh? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I think that power is super useful because you can do a ton of stuff with that.
Like where can't you go where metal is not to your advantage?
100%.
Right? Like
Yeah.
I was trying to think about it. I was like out in the woods, but even then, like the metal in the ground, like in the rocks and everything, could
In
still
the
be
earth,
your
absolutely. And you can kind of fly with it too. In
Right.
the course of it all.
Right.
And then Wolverine is just such a cool power too, not being able to die essentially.
Well, but that's a double-edged sword, as they've touched on.
It is a double-edged sword, but you can be a little more reckless with your life too. So you got a lot going on.
That's
there.
also
And then
true.
I really think as much as Spider-Man's not my guy, and I know he's not a mutant, but I mean,
But he has mutant-esque
Exactly.
qualities, yeah.
so I think when it comes to a great story, give me a skill character all day long.
Right.
Because they go through so much struggle and give all the villains the powers because you got to fight against that, figure out ways to make that work. That's why Batman's so awesome because he shouldn't be able to beat all these characters, but through his superior intellect, he's able to figure it out every single time.
Now, would you rather be someone like the Human Torch or Iceman?
Oh, that's a good one. I think I'd rather be Iceman. Because then you're probably able to handle the cold a little bit better.
But what about heat? It's one or the other.
Yeah, I know it's one or the other, but I'd rather be a little hot than a little cold.
Iceman didn't really do it for me.
Okay, so you're more of a Human Torch guy.
I was always a big Johnny Flame.
Johnny Storm.
Johnny Storm. Whatever his name is, I was a big fan of his, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
The
part
Human
of,
Torch is all that matters.
part of my hang up is I don't want to have to yell "Flame on" when I want my powers to come into play.
Yeah.
But when I was a kid, the Iceman that I grew up with was the way cooler Iceman. I mean, obviously we had Iceman in the comics, but we had the Iceman in
And the
Spider-Man
X-Men.
and His Amazing Friends.
Oh, yeah.
He was really
Yep.
cool because he just basically used that ice to get himself all around the place. I'm
Right.
like,
That's really cool.
That's traveling in style.
But Human Torch can fly too, in fairness.
But the damage rate, I mean, you're just going around town leaving huge sheets of ice everywhere you go? Like,
I think it has a high melt. I think it has a very relatively low melting point.
well, then how is that useful to you?
Well, because you can just make more of it as you need it, but I think like it doesn't. It's like Spider-Man's webbing. Like an hour or so, it just dissolves.
It just dissolves. Okay.
So you're going Human Torch.
I would go Human Torch on that. Yeah.
Honestly, I'd be interested
Hot stuff.
if we did. Maybe at some point we could create a list of characters you prefer, like one or the other, because there are some like along the way that I think
Well, how about another one for you? How about Batman or Iron Man? Two very similar characters.
That's really a tough one.
It's not for me.
Because the thing is, I like Batman way more than Iron Man. But I think Iron Man's.
But he's a tortured soul.
I know he is. That's why I like. That's why I like reading his stuff.
But
more.
if you had to be him, though, not
no.
What if you only had to read one?
But he's also freaking brilliant, dude. Batman.
So is Tony Stark. He figured out time travel.
Batman's smarter than them all. I firmly believe that he's the smartest.
Nick,
Batman is the smartest superhero, smartest character in comics. Period. Not Shuri, not Iron Man, not Hank Pym or Reed Richards. It's Bruce Wayne.
Wow, I think that's a very ballsy move. Because, I want to know, how is he so smart? Like, he's just a rich dude who went off to the Middle East to go, learn karate.
Look at every character he's had to battle along the way.
I understand that,
He should never win.
But there's no precedent for him.
Here's why Batman's
he's just,
not the smartest.
Huh?
Here's why Batman can't be the smartest. Because otherwise, he'd figure out a way to keep all the villains from escaping every time he captured them.
That's a good point.
He has to trust the system and do it and try and do it the right way, even though it doesn't work every time.
If Batman was like, "Hey, I have some ideas of how to reinforce Arkham Asylum," they would have listened to him.
I think part of what's going on there with him is he likes the challenge. He likes the race. It gives him that rush.
He gets so pissed every time it happens, though.
He does get pissed, but at the same time, then he has his purpose and he continues to fight the good fight.
I also question his smarts because he's lifting weights and
I'm just saying
to prepare for a fight with Superman
Now
in
you're
BVS.
I'm not saying I'd call him the smartest. I'm not saying that he's not smart. I'm just saying I wouldn't give him the title of the smartest.
I think it's Tony Stark.
Okay, and who would you? I think in Marvel, there have been rankings made in Marvel has actually done it, and I think Reed Richards was made the smartest character. I think I'm right about that.
I don't know, because wasn't Victor Von Doom smarter than he was?
It might have been him too. I don't know for sure.
Professor Xavier?
No, it's
with
not.
Cerebro?
He's brilliant, but it's not him.
But Cerebro doesn't let you see things. It doesn't really let you know everything.
But he created it to help shape his mind, control his mind.
But that's more just for psychokinetic powers.
That's pretty brilliant, though.
That ability is unbelievable. And
he is a professor.
He gives me.
He's a principal of a school.
Show some
I mean, first of all, hold on. We don't really know his academic credentials. I mean, anybody can open a school and call themselves a professor.
Well, I believe our current president tried to
he might have done that.
He's a headmaster of Trump University.
Yes, exactly.
Right? I don't know though. Hank Pym's very smart, but I don't think he's not the smartest. Tony Stark's going.
I wouldn't call Hank Pym the smartest.
No, he's not. Banner's not the smartest.
He has 8 PhDs, 7 PhDs.
It might be Richards. As much as I hate to say that, I could be wrong though. Yeah, but anyways, so yeah, I think. But if I'm picking one to win a fight, if I'm picking a group to win a fight, I'm going with Cosmic. No questions asked.
I think it has to be.
Yep.
Because you have a lot of OP'd people on there.
Oh, yeah. But that's why, again, I don't like reading them as much.
And X-Men, the mutants, I'm kind of coming. I think that has to be number 2.
It has to be. What's great about them and what makes them, they have some OP characters, but there are flaws within them.
Right.
With some of these other ones, it doesn't seem like there is as much.
Yeah, but and the tough thing that I'm coming across with Mystics right now is that they have a certain undefinable power in some cases.
Right.
Where you don't really I'm looking at Scarlet Witch specifically. Mm-hmm. I don't really know what she does or what she can't do for that matter.
And if you put her into just the comics, she's a mutant. That's the other thing too. You bring her.
Well, she was in the comics, right? Isn't she?
She's one of Magneto's daughters.
Yes. Yeah.
Her, Polaris, and then you have Quicksilver, and then maybe I don't think there's a fourth, but yeah. So that settles that. Anything else? Actually, before we move on to 2v1?
What's the worst?
The worst in terms of if I had to pick to win a fight, you mean?
Yeah.
I think that I'd have to go. As I look at the science list, I know I was saying that they were getting disrespected before, but
there's not a lot though.
There's not a lot, which is part of why.
And you pull the Fantastic Four out of there, and you pull Ant-Man and the Wasp out of there, and you're really just left with Hulk and Captain America
and Luke Cage, which is a good trio.
Yeah.
But I mean, is that enough? And if you're putting Spider-Man in there, then that's a little different. But part of me wants to say science. If not science, then skill.
Right. And if we're not putting in some villains in here, I think that's fair because you do have some pretty cool science villains. Electro comes to mind. Deathstroke. Rhino is a big bad.
Yep.
Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Flash falls under science, that helps big time too. But the thing
Poison Ivy, no, she's kind of useless.
But the thing with when I did like my like equation or whatever with skill, I gave them number 1 ranking on fighting ability because obviously you have to have that, and that also goes into intellect too. I gave tech number 2 because obviously there are a lot of smarts that go along with them,
and they're mostly human.
Exactly.
Right.
So they both have to have a lot of smarts working on their side in order to fight in the courses and be effective too. So I think I'd go science. As the bottom of the barrel.
Science would be my word. Okay, so this is what I got right. I got cosmic, mutant, tech, mystic, skill, science.
I think that's a pretty fair system. Pretty fair ranking. Okay.
And tech stays as high just because I'm biased.
I mean, honestly, Wes, when I did, again, I think my system's a little flawed, but I had Mystic and Tech on the same playing field. I think that's pretty close, pretty even.
And just because there's so many top tier tech guys.
Yeah.
When like I mentioned, the Star-Lords, the Iron Mans, the Visions,
in there,
Batman,
huge.
Cyborg, those are some of the top tier. And then again, you're also getting Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I think, Ant-Man's quality, like Scott Lang may not be that quality.
This guy over here in his Paul Rudd defense. Every episode, it's
Ant-Man's abilities are really like awesome. He gets played up as kind of like a dumb superhero, but he has really like big abilities.
Oh, big abilities?
Or small, depending on what you want.
Small, yeah. I think they're pretty much.
That's going to be our battle for the when you have similar heroes matched up. You're going to have Ant-Man versus Apache Chief. And then when you realize that it's actually a really close fight, then you're going to say, well, maybe Ant-Man's not that great. Because he's basically equivalent to Apache Chief.
I think we'd probably go with Adam first.
But when he goes down to small size, he still has the same strength. He packs a punch.
I think he's a great character. I just don't know if I would be that over the top.
What was it again? Apache Chief crosses his arms
and just yells "Apache Chief,"
and that's how he grows.
That's how he grows taller.
Yeah, that's a callback from an earlier episode where
I like that a lot, actually. Where would you file him under?
He was probably the second lamest character on Super Friends.
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably Mystic, right?
No, come on. You know who the lamest character on Super Friends is?
No. You would file him. No.
I don't know where you'd file him under.
Probably Mystic because there's no mutants in DC.
Yeah, I don't know where.
No, the worst are the Wonder Twins. Those are the worst superheroes.
Well, I was going to say Gleek was the absolute worst.
Is that the boy?
The monkey.
Oh, is that
the Wonder Twins monkey?
Oh, yeah. The Wonder Twins are just, and they gotta see for all the comics that are getting canceled out there. Why the frig do the Wonder Twins have anything going on? I don't know how long
they have something going on.
I saw there was at least one issue.
I can't believe that they even have one.
It was a couple months ago. I saw at least the first
books.
issue.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I don't know if there are multiple ones out. I don't know if they've continued the run, but there was something. I remember seeing that and thinking, what the frig are we doing, DC? You're going to have the Wonder Twins? Who's going to read that?
Last question on here. Where do we stand on the ambiguously gay duo?
Ambiguously gay duo.
Yes. Are you familiar?
You're not familiar?
Are you talking about
Ace and Gary?
Ace and Gary?
Yeah, on Saturday Night Live digital shorts, the ambiguously. Who was it? Kevin Nealon.
Oh, okay, I've heard of them, but I don't know.
Who did the voices on that?
I think weren't they both Robert Smigel?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know.
I was thinking Nealon. I'll take your word for it.
Maybe he did.
They
definitely debuted post Nealon.
Did they? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought Nealon was like a long run host. But at any rate,
that's all you guys.
You ever seen the ambiguously gay duo?
No. Now that you bring it up in this SNL, it rings a bell, but I don't. I'm sorry. I've never been an SNL
I preferred the ex-presidents to the ambiguously gay duo. They had all the living former presidents as superheroes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like It was like a Super Friends type show, but it was pretty funny.
I think it would be Mystic, their powers. Right? I don't know.
The ambiguously gay duo?
Yeah.
If it's mystifying you that much, I guess so.
It's a great. The more
Cosmic?
you say their name, the more it just sounds awesome. The ambiguously gay duo.
It's a great sketch. It's a really, really funny digital short.
Whoever thought of that name was it was a good move. But yeah, anything else on the best class of superheroes, Wes?
No, I think we talked through this. It was a very healthy debate.
Yeah. The end
Cosmic.
of it all, Cosmic is the winner,
Which is kind of lame.
Science is the loser. I think that,
But it's. I feel like it's like almost by default it has to be.
Well,
Yeah.
I think you realized how important Mutant was in the course, or how powerful Mutant was in the course for all.
Yes, yeah.
And we needed to talk this through
Because you figure, like, you also have like Wolverine, X-23, and Deadpool, 3 things that cannot be killed.
yeah, and then there's Honey Badger too, same thing.
Right. Okay.
Another it's just another Wolverine character.
Yeah. Any relation to Sabretooth or
No.
just running out of a?
No, she's she's just another like clone. She's actually a clone of X-23, I believe.
Okay.
But she's a fun character. Anyways, but the point is, you're right. Yes, you have those 3 characters that can't die. You have Rogue, who has the powers of Captain Marvel, and then also can absorb powers. You have Jean Grey. You have Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're just, and there are Legion. There are a load of, and I think actually Franklin Richards, the son of Sue Storm, who becomes Sue Richards and Reed Richards.
Mm-hmm.
I believe he's a mutant as well. So that's a whole nother thing.
Oh, wow.
So mutants and Cosmic, it's really close.
Right, and obviously Gambit throws flaming cards.
Are you trying to mock? The fact that
He's got a staff though too. In his defense,
I don't appreciate this. Gambit is one of my
kind of
favorite
attacking
characters.
you right now.
Are. Yeah,
know.
I don't like this at all. He's an amazing character.
Sorry, that was
He's
poor on me.
Dark, mysterious, sexy. He has everything that you
so the
want.
Bayou.
Yes, from the Bayou.
He's got a southern draw.
Exactly. Yes.
Like a bunch of molasses just falling out. In your
If you
mouth.
want to know what he kind of sounds like, go and watch Waterboy. And the assistant coach who wears the overalls, he speaks Cajun.
Yes.
It's called a Cajun patois.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, a little bit of French in there.
A patois.
A patois.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
But I love Gambit. But anyways, I'm hoping that the MCU does him right and gives him a movie or at least something.
I hope. Yeah. Well, don't hold your breath, Nick.
No, I think Kevin Feige will give him his due. But anyways, speaking of Gambit, we have the love of his life, who he is now married to, Rogue, in our 2v1 this week. And I do have a proposal for 2v1 going forward, because I've kind of thought a little bit about maybe
Well,
adding
this is
a
your
wrinkle.
brainchild.
So right now this week we have Rogue versus Starfire, obviously of DC Comics.
Of course.
And we have Trinity from the Matrix movies. Now, I know last week I mentioned how there's always that third character that I throw in, and it's like, I don't think, I know Trinity has looked at that. Right away when I brought it up to you, you had seen it already. Same thing with Tim. It's like, Trinity. I think Trinity, if you give her the powers that you get within the Matrix, where she's cognizant of what's going on, she can hang with these two. I firmly believe that. That being said,
now, are they also aware of the Matrix?
no, when have they ever been aware of the Matrix?
I don't know. I just thought everyone would be on the same playing field.
Well, I mean, I guess they're technically on the same playing field, but I don't think that. But they don't know how to use it.
Okay.
You can't go and just give them that out of nowhere. That's kind of my thing. So, anyways, 2 are trying to kill you.
Wait a minute. If she knows that she's in the Matrix and they're not, then she basically just knows that their powers are a computer program. Like, they're just computer programmed to have those powers, and then she can just figure out and override the program, and then basically render their powers moot.
But could Trinity do that on the same? Like, we didn't put. If I put Neo in this conversation, that would be different. Neo wins this fight.
No, they would. They'd just be able to hack the program. That's what they did.
So Tim, why don't you go first? And who under my rules that I've created? Who's winning this fight? Who are you picking to protect you?
Well, listen, I'm picking Starfire to protect me. I don't care if I die. It'll just be the best, however long it takes me to die that I've ever had. I'm not in this to win. I'm not in this to survive.
You're turning into West when it comes to
there's
slowly.
an end game coming here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, listen, if I'm going to die, that's how I'd like to go.
Starfire's no joke, though.
No.
Starfire versus Rogue is, I
think she'd certainly stand a chance, but I'm just saying, let's just say survival would not be the first thing on my mind.
Okay, and you're assuming that's going to...
Or maybe celebrating survival might be... Maybe if we were the last 2 people left on Earth.
Oh, jeez.
But the real
You
question
would have to consummate that really quick.
So,
Yes.
do you think that you have a chance with Starfire?
Oh, absolutely.
The last 2 people on Earth, I like those odds.
Did she not have a relationship with Dick Grayson?
What's your point?
If she had a relationship with Dick Grayson, I definitely got a shot.
What's wrong with Dick Grayson?
I can grow facial hair.
Oh, well, that's...
How old was Dick Grayson in this situation?
He was in his 20s.
Yeah, they've been... Yeah,
Okay.
He's throwing shade at Dick Grayson for no reason. I'm not going to go and debate him on that. So Wes is... so Tim is taking Starfire. Wes, who are you taking?
I think... so under your new... This is a different wrinkle that you just thrown my way here.
Fair point.
Knowing what I know about Neo, Trinity, and now what I know about Rogue as well, what I came in knowing about Rogue. So Rogue has essentially superpowers that are unparalleled, right? She has super strength. She can fly.
Yep.
She also has the ability to absorb other people's powers. Mm-hmm. So if she were to get into hand-to-hand combat with Trinity, would she then assume the powers of the Matrix?
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
And then obviously she could handle Trinity in hand-to-hand combat. Mm-hmm. Grab her hand real quick, becomes aware of the Matrix, and then suddenly can wield all the powers.
Yeah, because she does absorb memories too.
Way to throw your wrinkle right back in your face.
He did.
That's it.
Okay, so
Give me Rogue.
That is a good one. That was very well played.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm going with Starfire in the course of this because you're just factoring in their fight, which is you broke that down perfectly. I got to say, you blew my mind.
I know, yeah, it is. Every now and again.
But with Starfire, the thing is, she has the ability of ranged attacks as well. She can shoot those beams out of her hands, and if you ever played Injustice, she can like toss the beams almost, I guess, to some extent, however you want to look at it. So physically. She's got, not indestructible, but she's on a similar playing field to Rogue when it comes to that, as much as anybody else.
And can also keep Rogue at bay.
Exactly. So she can keep her at bay. She can get Trinity out of the mix, long range. I did the same thing with Winter Soldier. He can get Dick Grayson out of the fray, long range, really quickly, and then take my chances with him hand to hand. Because as far as I'm concerned, and this is one thing that was big with me, and I should have looked into this more. Starfire can breathe in outer space, right? She's fine. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that Rogue can.
I think you're right.
No.
So you go and do that, then Starfire wins. Because if she can blast her into outer space, then Rogue's screwed. I know Rogue can fly, but if you keep her out there long enough, what's Rogue going to do?
All right. Okay.
So winner, chicken dinner, Starfire, and Tim, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go after her too. So.
Oh, wow.
May the best man win.
Here's your 1v1. Me versus Nick.
So now, speaking of changing the numbers up a little bit, I was thinking maybe we change it to a kind of a 1v1, but instead of it being one character versus one character, we change it to a group of characters versus another group of characters.
A la X-Men versus Avengers.
X-Men versus Avengers. But it will be, like we've been doing here, an assortment of characters. We could do 3v3, kind of.
Oh.
I was thinking.
Kind of like you're building your own team.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that little wrinkle.
And maybe we try that going forward, see how people feel about that. 2v1, because again, 2v1 kind of gets tough. But I think we've done a good job of... I think if we took some of the groups that we've put together, we could make some decent battles.
Yeah, and I think typically what we do well here is a good process of elimination, right? So I think even today, not to pat ourselves on the back too much, but I will. Mm-hmm. We did a good job of talking it through, of each one kind of having their own fair chance.
I think you and I did. I think Tim was thinking with
the other head.
Yes, I think.
Which I can't. We are all men after all,
Listen, I had a Starfire poster on my wall when I was like 10.
Oh, boy.
She had a huge role in shaping my future. And I had a She-Hulk. I had the She-Hulk coming out of the shower with the towel.
Oh, really?
If you ever remember that famous panel.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, no.
Starfire in Red Hood and the Outlaws looks great. I mean, I know she looks a little different when Tim was reading her, but I can understand why anybody would fall for Starfire.
I don't think he was reading her.
Oh, I read her all over.
So keep your eyes peeled for that on Thursday. If you haven't, depending on when you're listening to this, it may already be out. But yeah, we're gonna mix it up a little bit and do a 3v3 this week. See how the people respond. But Wes, in preparation for this, I'm sure other stuff's been going on. Obviously, you were out of town this past weekend. What's been on your mind?
Yeah, so I stumbled upon this little show last night after watching the Bruins game. And it was a preview of an upcoming series. So they gave you the first episode, I think a week before it comes out. It's called City on a Hill. It's a Showtime show. And it takes place in 1990s Boston, where an assistant district attorney and a corrupt yet venerated FBI agent work together to take on a case that grows to involve and ultimately subvert the entire criminal justice system of Boston. Stars Kevin Bacon, who plays an absolute scumbag of an FBI agent.
Really?
But you just love him. Yeah, he's a coke snorting, philandering, drinking, cigarette smoking, real SOB.
It's amazing how in America we love that stuff so much.
No, and as a, I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but as a former cigarette smoker, like, I love someone who can smoke the shit out of a cigarette. Like, you can always tell who the fake cigarette smokers are. And someone who, like, I feel like Kevin Bacon used to rip cigs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just how I think. Yeah.
So can you think of someone who doesn't really smoke in movies?
It doesn't.
Or that fakes it?
None comes to mind immediately. Do you have one?
Brad Pitt?
Maybe.
I mean,
I know
I've seen Club. I've seen him smoke.
Yeah.
Usually any guy that holds a cigarette between two fingers.
Yes.
Like,
you got to kind of
shape.
corral it. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you got to kind of like, and really just kind of like.
What
pull
about
it off.
if they're holding it like this, like with the index finger and the thumb?
No, because that's a real amateur move.
Okay.
Yeah, because nobody does that unless you're smoking like a joint.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not a smoker, so
yeah.
I just.
No, I'm saying that's a fair question.
On the
I'm an
occasions
amateur.
that I smoked, how did I? Yeah, I think I did like the curl over V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you did?
Yeah, you kind of curl it over and you get that deep inhale afterwards, and you blow it out your nose and be like, "Let me tell you something, shithead." And then they really give it to you.
That was like very Rust Cole of you all of a sudden.
Yeah, Russ Cole, great cigarette smoker.
Absolutely.
Anyone in actually the True Detective series,
Yes.
great cigarette
Real,
smokers.
actual smoking happening.
But do you guys want to take a stab at who's executive producing this TV show that's based in Boston?
Is Ben Affleck?
And
a Wahlberg.
Yeah, it was Wahlberg.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, of course.
Okay, it was either Wahlberg or Damon. Yeah.
Yeah. I just found that very, very fitting because it has to do with a lot of bank heists out in Charlestown, which we've seen that movie before.
It's never gonna be me, you, shiny sister, dressed up and playing house. So get that through your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think I've used that line on this podcast before.
That's good. That's good stuff right there. So that's what's on. City on a Hill. I believe the first episode comes out next week. But if you have Xfinity, it should be available on demand at the current moment. Very good 1 hour of television.
Okay.
Actually, if you have the Showtime app too, it's available on the app.
I got to imagine so. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely sold that well. So what's been on my mind, I saw recently that Spawn is going to be in the new Mortal Kombat 11.
Oh, very cool.
And if you look all over Instagram, depending, if you're following the right accounts, you can see a lot of the, I haven't seen Spawn footage yet, but I've seen a lot of the characters, what is it, the finisher moves that they have,
Oh,
Wes?
yeah.
Dude.
Any cool non-Mortal Kombat characters like Spawn that you've seen?
I don't know that there are any others outside of, I think he might be the only one. He's the only one that I know of. I would love to see them bring in some of the DC characters because you have Sub-Zero and Raiden and some other characters in Injustice. Actually, that has TMNT, that has Hellboy. I have that game. I like that game quite a bit.
I do enjoy that game, yeah.
It's fun. I haven't played it in a while, but with Mortal Kombat 11, the violence on this game it gets more and more ridiculous. And at the same time, I kind of like seeing these moves, but
of course,
you can't let kids play these games.
Well, the creativity's through the roof.
It's insane when it comes to the violence, man.
How many times can you kill someone? How many different ways?
I don't even care about killing anybody. I just care about getting toasty.
Oh, what do you mean?
Huh?
Toasty. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
Oh, like the original Mortal Kombat. Like this little dude would pop up like if you did certain maneuvers, he'd pop up with a toaster.
Yeah.
It was like,
I was never that good though. Clearly.
Oh man, I don't know. Something like one of the first ones.
Yeah, definitely the first one. I don't know if they kept it going in the series, but I remember when Mortal Kombat came out for the home systems, and everybody was so excited. Everybody had pre-ordered. This is like the first game you could pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Everybody was so excited to get it, and then I had Super Nintendo, and my friend had Genesis, so I got the version that had the blood.
Oh.
And I'm sorry. He got the version that had the blood. Mine didn't because Nintendo wouldn't show the blood. So, like, I basically wasted $50 because we never
That's the whole
played.
point.
We never played my version of it. We only went over and played it on Genesis, and then it got so bad that Nintendo literally created Killer Instinct.
Really?
Just because they blew it so bad on the Mortal Kombat launch.
So let me ask you something. So I had my grandparents had Sega at their house when I was a kid, so I would play that over there. Was there? I had a Mortal Kombat game on there, I believe, and I think but it wasn't a fighting game in this in the same way that we.
Was it Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero?
Yes.
So basically, it's the legend of Sub-Zero, and it's his whole backstory.
Yeah.
They were going to put that out for every single Mortal Kombat character, and the Sub-Zero game sold so poorly that they canceled that idea.
I actually.
It's like X-Men Origins, right? It's almost a similar
If
path.
they hadn't started with Sub-Zero, if they'd started with Scorpion, which is the one that everybody wanted them to do, if they had done that, they probably would have been able to at least keep it going a little bit more. But
Okay. Yeah,
They-
and that was probably different. I mean, that's a different time too, where because Sub-Zero was kind of more the hero than Scorpion, right, at the start, or at least I always thought he was more the hero.
I think he was definitely a hero in that game.
Yeah, so if you did it with
But-
the villain, there was a different time where you wouldn't do it.
But that
with the
you
villain
had that
first.
on a Genesis. I remember that being a PlayStation game. I don't remember it being
No,
on
I
Genesis.
definitely had it on Sega. I'd never owned a PlayStation in my life.
Weird.
Yeah, but that was another fun game on Sega too. There was an X-Men one that I absolutely loved. I used to rip that game all
yeah.
the time.
On
Was it-
Sega?
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. They had it on the modulators that they have now that you can get.
Yeah.
on?
Sega had a fantastic
Oh.
X-Men game. They had the best version of Spider-Man before Maximum Carnage came out on SNES. But they had SNES. But they had there was a great fighting game on Sega that's been forgotten over time because it came out the same time as Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and all these other ones.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Eternal Champions.
I've never played that game. Never even heard of it.
Eternal Champions was a fantastic fighting game. So
don't
much
remember
harder
that.
than these other ones.
All I remember is Streets of Rage. That's a
That's
a one. Aren't they on like rollerblades and everything?
I
And,
don't.
like.
I remember that name. I don't
Yeah.
think I ever played it, but I
I remember that game. I don't remember a whole lot of my childhood games.
Beast Wars was another one. I think. No, not Beast Wars. That was a TV show.
Like
But
non-sports games. for
but
that
there was
matter.
but on the X-Men one, you could play as one of 4 characters. It was Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Cyclops, or Gambit.
I think I played this.
Wasn't that
game.
just a port of the arcade game? No, the arcade game had Storm.
No, the arcade game was totally different. You could use a bunch. That was the Marvel Capcom one you're talking about, right?
I love that game.
Oh, such an awesome game. The
That was
graphics
great.
on that were
What,
great.
Marvel
Yeah.
versus Capcom?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think number 2 is the greatest one of all time.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
they also had
so.
they also had a home port of the X-Men the arcade game.
Yeah, the game you and I are talking about, I think, are 2 different things. The one I had was similar to the Sub-Zero style that I was talking about.
And it has if I remember right on the cartridge it had the Sentinels.
It might have, I don't know.
I probably have
I think
it.
I had that game too. Now that I think about it,
I still have all my Sega games in my
way
basement.
off base. Here. I'm trying to
It's tough.
chip
Yeah.
in.
No, I know it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Anyways, and Tim, is there anything else that you had in your mind? We never really asked you, but
No, but now I want to go home and upload all my emulators again.
Ah,
There
there
we
you
go.
go. Nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna wrap things up, right, Wes?
Yeah, next weekend we got Dark Phoenix. Like it or not. That's what we have. But as always, you can always find us on the WBSM 1420 YouTube page for all of our archived video content. You can find us on Twitter if you want to interact with us. Tell us how bad our choice in video games are, or our choice in our
amazing they are.
yeah, or if you just want to be complimentary. I feel like that's not really the place for it.
No, you know
I'm
that
not
all
sure
too well.
if there is a place for that. I know it, right? But you can hit us up on Twitter at Change My Mind Pod, or you could interact with Nick at Fry_Guy1, or talk baseball with him with a little Nick_Fryer.
Okay. Or basketball. That's really what I'm doing these days.
That's true. That's right.
Like Kyrie nonsense.
Or you could, poke fun at me and my piss poor name generators at Wesley Sykes _. And of course, if you want all of our audio content, archive that, you can head over to Geeks Worldwide on their SoundCloud or iTunes page as well. Anything else to plug?
No, I think
I think that's
at
it.
Tim Weisberg and of course Spooky South Coast.
Yes, of course, Tim.
Yes, we forget that from time
Thank
to
you.
time. But
You got it.
all right. I think Dark Phoenix next week.
Can't wait. So that's what I wanted to ask. So are you not doing